It's Mohim for Boxing Domination, and today I'm joined by one of the biggest punchers in bare knuckle boxing. Joining me from Croatia, former BKB world champion Marko Martinjak. How you doing, champ?
I'm good, mate.
So,
Hey, how are you?
yeah, no, I'm doing really good, thank you. Obviously, we spoke last night, 5 a.m. UK time, and you're joining me right now. It's unbelievable. Thank you.
Listen, former cruiserweight BKB champ, and right now, still BKB super middleweight champion, and still Police Gazette diamond champion.
That's crazy. I mean, you're fine at the BYB 18. Thank you for correcting me earlier. I thought it was BKB 32. I don't know why I slipped off there. But it's your rematch.
Yeah, it's a rematch against.
Preparation? How's your preparation going for this fight?
Preparations are going very well. Thank you for asking. I'm in good. I'm in a great shape right now. Just cutting weight. I have 1 month and 15 days to cut 4 kilos more down, and that's it. We start to spar. We start with boxing. How do I say? With preparation for on the pads and stuff like that.
I mean, you come from a boxing background, but in the bare knuckle boxing, you seem to really, really just knock every man that's in front of you, really. I mean, you got 7 wins. Thank you for correcting me earlier. Is it 7 knockouts as well, right?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, where does the power come from? I just want to know, like, where's the power really coming from?
But listen, I don't think it's the power. It's the technique. It's a background of boxing. I am a school boxer, and but also with the years I got the power. I'm now 32, and I think that I'm now stronger than I was a cruiser when I was 100 kilos. So with the years you got the power.
I mean, you've I want to talk about your boxing background and your early life. What got you into the combat sports, and was it boxing or kickboxing you got into first?
Now, first I started with Taekwondo when I was a kid. When I start to go to school, I started with Taekwondo, and then when I was 14, I was a kid with a good behavior, with bad behavior. I was problematic, and then I started boxing, and then with the years I started to do kickboxing, Muay Thai, and stuff like that.
Wow, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong again, but I believe you're 35 fights into professional boxing.
Yeah. In my background, I have over 400 fights in every aspect of fighting where I was fighting. So, amateur boxing, amateur kickboxing, professional boxing, professional kickboxing. I have also 1 fight in MMA and 9 in bare knuckle.
I mean, I know you fought one of Matchroom's fighters, Fabio Turchi, in boxing, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if you still remember, but this was actually quite some time ago. In 2015, he fought Fabio Turchi. I mean, obviously it's not about Fabio Turchi, but I'm sort of trying to like reflect it on, what's the since transition to bare knuckle boxing, what's the journey been like for you? Because it's a very different but a very difficult sport.
Yeah, but listen, I think that in the past, everything I did in a fighting career, everything was set up for bare knuckle. I have I gone in a bare knuckle just because of curiosity, and I start to love it. I lose the first fight against Michael Ferry as a heavyweight. He was like 15, 16 kilos heavier than me, and I lost. But Joe and Jim liked me, and they gave me a second chance, and then I had 7 wins, and unfortunately lost in Dubai 2 months ago.
I mean, the Dubai show was an absolute record-breaking show at the Duty Free Stadium, where it was the capacity of 5,000. What was it like to fight somewhere like Dubai in the Middle East?
It was nice. I like to travel. I'm a Sagittarius in astrology, so we like to travel. It was a nice experience, but it it would feel better if I won. But shit happens. This is that kind of sport.
Yeah, and like your first fight was in Coventry back in 2015, wasn't it?
Yeah, first fight.
Yeah. I remember actually watching your debut. I mean, you've come a long way since your first fight. I mean, what are the mental aspects? Like, how was it dealing with like, so since you lost in your debut, what was it like mentally to come back from it? Like the mental aspect of it.
But really, I told you I love it. I fell in love with bare knuckle, and I wanted that, and thanks to Joe and Jim, they gave me second chance, like I said earlier, and this is my life, I live for this.
And of
I
course,
only train, I only eat, sleep, and repeat.
yeah, because every time I've seen you at the O2, you always seem to look like you're just gonna go for a fight. Like the last BKB, I believe BKB 31 when we met.
Yeah,
I thought you was gonna be fighting until I saw you sort of coming down and helping some of the fighters out. And I was like, you know what? Like I saw backstage, you know what? Maybe there might just be a fight. We might see Marko Martinjak just
listen,
getting into a fight
I
backstage.
told Jim and Joe, listen, if somebody from my weight pull out, I'm gonna fight, no problem.
That is insane. I mean, in recent times, right? We've been looking at a lot of boxers, a lot of MMA fighters, right? Jimmy Sweeney, for example, he was meant to fight Johnny Tello
Yeah, I
as
saw
I
that.
believe the main event, but I think it was Johnny Tello who had an injury. But now Jimmy Sweeney might be fighting two opponents on the same night. That's absolutely insane. Is that something
Wait,
that you would?
same night, or in the same time?
I don't think it's the same time. I think it'll be on the same night. Yeah. If it's same
But he
time,
did,
that's just a
but he
bit.
did it already. He did it couple when the
Yeah,
BKB wasn't illegal. He did it.
that's insane. I mean, what? Find two guys at the same time in the ring?
10 years. You have that. You have that on the YouTube. Ask Steven. Jimmy fought. I think it was like 8 to 10 years ago. He fought two guys in the same night.
Is that is that something? Is that something you'd be open to?
Listen, I will do that if I can do legs and if they pay me good. So if they listen like this, I would do that, but only on the circumstances that I can do my legs.
Yeah.
So I can do kickboxing and they do boxing, and we do bare knuckle, no gloves, and I will do that. And if they pay me good.
I mean, One Championship recently did a historic fight between Rotang and Demetrius Johnson, UFC legend, and it was basically fighting another person from another sport. So, for example, one round, the first round was, I believe, Muay Thai. Second round was MMA, and third round was meant to be boxing.
I didn't
You
saw
know,
that.
these type of crossover fights are what's really interesting the fans. And I know it's bare knuckle boxing, but do you think maybe BKB should try something
No, man,
something along
listen,
that?
BKB evolved from the time I started in 2016. Is it developed very much, so I think that is not good for them. Okay,
Makes sense.
this is okay. This is okay. Two men in one night. Okay, first fight and the last fight. I will do that. Me personally, will do like that. But I don't think that they don't need shit like that, and because we have many people watching around the world, and they are very serious organization,
100%.
and I believe in 2-3 years this is going to be a massive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think at the end of this year will be massive, and I think it's going to be even bigger because me and you won the sport.
Yeah.
No. Anyway,
especially you from behind the scenes.
listen, you need characters in this game, and bare knuckle boxing needs characters. But anyway, do you know much about your opponent?
Yeah, I know everything about him.
I mean, from like, what went wrong for you in the first fight?
Listen, in the first fight went wrong because I got cocky, I knock him down 2 times, and my head like was, oh, I'm gonna finish you. I'm gonna rip your head off. I'm gonna throw you out of the ring, you know. And then I enter with my last hand. I enter too deep. He's shorter than me. His arm reach is not so long like mine, and he got me with that right hook. I think my ear broke in the side, and I didn't get too much time of recovery. You know, in BYB is round is 3 minutes, and the count is 10. In a BKB, count is 20. So maybe if I had like 7-8 seconds more, maybe I wouldn't suffer that kind of defeat I suffered, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I think whatever really happens sort of happens for the best circumstances, really. But now, you're coming back. It's but while I speak on that, I do want to mention, Alan Babich, he's from Croatia,
Yeah,
right?
I know. He's my friend.
Yeah.
We met last week when we have here one hill, you know. It's like 4 kilometers like this, you know. And I go every weekend when I can. When I can, I started, and I met him. We are good friends.
I mean, I was actually telling people, in I believe it was BKB 30 or BKB 29, I was telling people that Marko Martinjak is the bare knuckle version of Alan Babich.
But I am more technical.
100%. 100%. Listen, you both just every single fighters that are in front of you, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. Like they are in trouble every minute. It's like it's non-stop action, and I think this is why the fans have to really give it to you fighters that really put day in day out of grafting every single day. The sacrifices you guys make, really every single day. I want to also go on some of the belts that you've won. You showed me some belts earlier, but I do want to sort of ask you, when you won your first belt, right? Your first ever belt, right? What was the feeling to that compared to you winning your world title? Like
My first belt was 2016 in kickboxing. I was the full contact champion of the world. Listen, I came this fight like on a 7 days notice, you know, and like a replacement, and it was a dream come true for me, you know. And this is all I ever wanted in my life, to be the champion of the world. And now I'm a 4-time champion of the world. I 6 fights I had for world titles, 4 I won. So now is the 7th. I go for my 5th. I go for my 5th world title, and I'm hope, and I think that I'm gonna win it. You know, I learn from my mistakes. For me, it's never defeat. Is always a lesson.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, yeah.
I can only come back stronger. You know, I didn't fight for 4.5 years, and they think that Chad Kelly is gonna rip my head off, but I proved them wrong. I proved them also wrong when I fought Hedge, but because of my stupidity, I lost the fight.
I mean, I'm not sure if you know this, but if you beat Jarome at the BYB 18, do you know that you will be ranked number 1 in the world?
Yeah, no, man, but that BoxRec is shit, man.
How can
Carl Hobley be the first cruiserweight in the Europe, and I second his heavyweight? How can, I don't know, Max Bellamy or Dan McGriffin be the before me in the scale, and they don't fight in cruiserweight? They fight like welterweight, you know.
Yeah.
That BoxRec, okay, it's good for professional boxing, but for BK, they do a lot of shit. Jerome Hedge has only 1 world title. I have 3 in bare knuckles. So I'm supposed to be right now also the first fighter in the world. And the first in Europe. So that is shit for me. And I can't wait for that rematch to be the number 1 ranked. He didn't deserve it. I am.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I mean, BoxRec has another fighter, listen, listen. I don't want to start going off about fighters because the last thing I know is when I do, I'm gonna get knocked out. When I'm seen in front of them. But
No,
one of
I don't
the
know, but I don't hit civilians, man.
one of the American heavyweights, Houston Alexander, 51
Yeah,
years
he's
old.
before me, and he's heavyweight.
Yeah, I mean, it does really does surprise me because he's 51, 303 knockouts, but in a different weight division. Why is it combined at cruiserweight? Doesn't make sense.
I don't know, and I I fight super middleweight, because
Mm,
BKB and BYB the categories are mm,
yeah,
similar categories. In a BKB, my weight is super middleweight, and BYB is cruiser. So I supposed to be super middleweight, not cruiserweight.
yeah,
But like I said, the BoxRec doing shit about bare knuckle. They're
yeah.
doing good job again with professional boxing, but they do shit with the bare knuckle. That is my opinion and opinion of many other fighters.
You know what? I think it's the exact same thing as well because one of the confusing part about BoxRec, I find as a presenter, as a journalist, the problem I find is whenever I go to any BKB shows or any BYB shows or even the BKFC shows, the problem I have is when I go on BoxRec and I try to find the events, they don't show any of the events or they don't show the name of the promoters. They don't show all the fighters, how many rounds it is. And it's a bit hard, like, when you're gonna interview a fighter making his debut, you're like, okay. And then, when you have to ask the fighter for his name, it's never a good look. It's never a good look.
No, it's not. It's not. It's very bad. They do a very bad job.
Yeah.
Very bad job.
Anyway, I want to ask you, have you ever sparred Ali Babich?
We sparred like 7, 8 years ago.
Mm,
And the first round I was better, and then he caught me, in the second
yeah.
round, and I start, okay, let's bro, man, let's bro. And so he killed me, Now he did not literally, but he was better. When I start
Yeah.
going fight like he is fighting, I would lost.
Mm,
I can only fight him on a distance and moving around like I fought Hedge in the beginning of the
yeah.
fight. So that is the truth. I tell everyone to. I say when somebody was better on sparring, I said I don't have
Mm,
I don't have problem with that.
yeah.
My ego, I have a big ego, but when it's coming to the truth, I tell the truth. He was better than me on that sparring.
Marco, you are an absolute gentleman. I'm not just saying it because I'm talking to you face to face or on camera, but the way you portray yourself in and out the ring is always very professional. Many fighters have been getting into trouble outside of the ring. Not going to say any names, but there's many fighters out there that have been getting into trouble. Growing up, I know you said you got into the combat sports really because you did go through a bit of a troubled past, right? I
Yes.
mean, how does bare knuckle boxing or the combat sports and just the boxing itself help you mentally and physically?
Listen, physically, I look better. I feel better. My body is in shape, and mentally, I listen. Everybody has stress in our life. You have stress with your work, with your wife, with your parents. I don't know. Just a second. Mira, listen. So the not just bare knuckle boxing. The boxing itself, it's good for me to channelize that energy, the negative energy, in something positive.
Hmm.
And I tell that to everybody. You don't have to be professional boxer, kickboxer, or MMA fighter. You just go to train because of yourself. Because you're gonna be. For me, it's the best when my trainer killed me on the in the sessions, and I go home and I was like, go sleep. Okay, I was tired, but I'm happy. I'm happy because every training I give myself 500%, you know, because I want to be the best, and I am the best. I want to be the best of the best of the best, you know. I want to be recognized as the greatest of all time. One day when I retire, because I will not fight like many fighters until 40. I am now 32, 4 or 5 years more, and hasta la vista, baby, you know. That is the truth.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I think a problem with many fighters is they go off to 40s, 50s. Like Roy Jones, he's about 50. He's probably about 60
Holyfield,
as well.
okay, Bernard Hopkins, Evander Holyfield, you know. But listen, you know that in a professional sport there is also everything.
Yeah.
You know, especially from the doctors, fitness, and you know that I think that I am one of the couple of guys who are not on any type of drugs.
Yeah.
I only take supplements who are legally buy in the store, you know. And I said I can go before every event. I can go to test myself. They can test me, but test. I don't know how many fighters they're gonna be or something, because this is the professional sport, and this professional sport works.
Yeah, I mean, you know, in professional boxing, for example, there's so many fighters now failing drug tests. I mean, when you were fighting, I'm sure you've definitely fought guys who are already on PEDs without you not knowing. But now you probably do because there's so many fighters now coming out. Not going to say names because I could get in legally trouble, but there's so many fighters in boxing coming out as fixing fights. There's so many fighters coming out on steroids, you know, which now has been quite exposed.
Yes.
And when you were fighting in boxing, right, or just say we go back about 15, 20 years, right, when you were first starting off, before you started, everyone sort of has like not everyone, but most people have like an aspiration, someone that they looked up to as a kid. I looked up to Mike Tyson, David Haye, the likes of Lennox Lewis. Who were yours?
I like Roy Jones Jr.
Yeah, it's a good one.
For me, the best. For me, the best fighter. For me, the best boxer who ever lived.
I mean, is that the type of fighting style that you intend to do
No,
eventually?
I have my own style. I have my
Yeah,
own style because Croatia was once upon a time we were like in one big country, Yugoslavia, you know. So it's like and the old trainers, they had like that Russian style, you know. And I composed that Russian style with American showtime style, you know. So it's like my own style, and I like that in and out, in and out. I'm not a fighter who will proceed you, you know, like Babich. I will wait you for the counters, and when I smell the blood, I'm gonna finish you. I didn't succeed in that in Dubai. I got caught, but we'll fix that in the London.
100%. I think you are a fantastic fighter, but
Thank you.
unfortunately, the way it's looking, I may not be at BYB 18 because I'll be in Portugal for the release for one of my films. I'm going to a film festival for my films. However, that I'll be covering BYB from Portugal on my computer. I'll be doing a live stream and I'll be doing it from my hotel room. It's 3 complete hours are gonna be gone in covering BYB.
Yeah, but it's good because the show is from 4 p.m. until 8 a.m. 8
Yeah.
p.m. It's a afternoon show. It's not evening show.
What got
So
you
it's good.
into, when you were coming into BKB? I mean, how did you come about? Like, did you see an ad on Facebook by Jim Freeman, or was there like a
No. My friend
film?
called me. My friend called me from Bosnia and asked me, "Do I want to try this?" And I said, "What?" I said, "Bare knuckle boxing. What is that? You know?" And he said to me that it's like boxing, but without no gloves. And listen, I like to fight, so let's try. And that is how I start to fight BKB.
That's unbelievable.
I am with me and Jimmy Sweeney on the current roster of the fighters who are still active. We are from the first. Jimmy is before me, but from the first BKB one, we are still here.
That's unbelievable. I mean, that's that journey must be very satisfying for you because you know you know you started it when it was first starting out, and now it's getting so big to a point where there's guys like Mike Perry who fought Luke Rockhold recently,
Yeah, no,
Conor
I saw.
McGregor, Conor McGregor potential talks. There was guys like Greg Hardy from UFC fighting, Paulie Malignaggi losing to Artem Lobov. It's a very crazy outcome. But as we are getting to the end of this interview, I do want to ask you, outside of bare knuckle boxing, do you have any hobbies? Since this is our first interview, I want to know a little bit about you. Tell me a bit about you.
Yeah, I have hobbies. I like to watch movies. I like to go to cinema. I have a crazy little dog. He's somewhere around. I don't know where is he. I like to go walking with him. I like to go to the mountains, play PlayStation sometimes, read the books. I read a lot of books, and currently I'm on it to finish my driving license.
Unbelievable. I mean,
yeah, I don't have that. I'm now finishing this, and maybe when I finish this in the September, I'm gonna probably go to some school for a coach, fitness coach, because I'm gonna need that one day. And my head is still normal,
yeah.
so I can learn and pass the test.
I mean, one thing about a lot of fighters when they retire. Actually, no, I'm going to go back to your hobbies. So you said you're into playing PlayStation. Do you think, and I think this is exactly what every organization, BKB, BYB, they all need to do is they need to get together for this and they need to work on this because this is something that would be massive. So back in the day, EA Fight Night came out and EA Fight Night had bare knuckle mode. You can do bare knuckle mode, and I still play the old Fight Night from 2011 on my PlayStation 3. Now there's
That is the old. That is the old. But I think that you have in the Fight Night Champion also bare knuckle boxing. In the prison you fight.
Oh yeah, they got the pen. You can fight in a stadium. Do you think? Because there's more games that are undisputed coming out for boxing, but there's none for bare knuckle boxing. It's the old ones from Fight Night. Do you think everyone should get together and try and give
Listen,
the fans something?
I don't know about BKFC. I don't know. They don't like each other.
Yeah.
But for BYB and BKB, why not? It could be interesting to put the bare knuckle game. So I can fight so I can fight with somebody myself.
I think it'll be fantastic, really. I mean, I've already got the overall in my head. I know the ratings I'm going to give, really. I'm not going to say on camera, but the ratings for these fighters are very reasonable. I've wrote it down already on my book. Now, thank you so much, Marko, for joining me. Before we go, have you got anything to say before your fight?
It's going to be I'll listen to what I have to say. Barry Jones is the captain. I am a co-captain for the European team. I hope that O2 is going to be full, like every time. The fans come to support us against Americans. I know that 25 of my Croatians are coming, and Englishmen and Welshmen. So I think it's going to be a great night to bare knuckle boxing, and I can't wait for it. So, everything.
Ladies and gentlemen, BYB 18 at the Indigo at the O2. The tickets link will be live in the description. It will be put in the description. Also, Marko Martinjak Instagram handle and every social media links will also be on the handle. Make sure to follow Marko and follow his journey. He will be the reigning and defending bare knuckle world champion. And before we go, do subscribe, do follow, and make sure you check out the BKB 32 on May the 21st. And also, I might be catching up with Marko Martinjak again for another exclusive interview, maybe a 5-minute one, just a 5-minute one at the O2 in London. Let's
No
get
problem,
on.
bro. Thank you for inviting me, and see you in London next week.